Hello, everybody. It's Richard C. Wilson, founder of the Family Office Club. I'm excited to have with me here today my friend Brian Sweet. I've known him for at least 4 years now. He's the founder of Sweet Financial Partners. He has over 43 years of investment and wealth advisory experience. And I want to give him a chance to introduce himself in just a minute, but I want to add a little bit of context. As you know, last year we acquired billionaires.com. Brian was one of the investors that helped us acquire that asset, and we're interviewing billionaires. We're coming up on just about a dozen billionaires interviewed so far. And what Brian's going to talk about is really connected to the interviews we're doing there, is connected to the health expert we had as a keynote speaker at our Q1 event this year. It's also connected to Jeff Hoffman's talk we had, the billionaire who spoke at our annual event, the Super Summit in Q4 last year. He talked about legacy and purpose in your life. And I really feel like when people join an investor club, they're not often walking in thinking they're going to hear anything about health or anything about purpose or genuine new adventure travel experiences or things that would enrich their life. They're thinking about like numbers and IRRs and what's their return going to be versus the S&P, et cetera. So I like to focus on things, people that are, they may not be expecting it, but everyone needs this. And especially everyone who's got the level of success where they can, be ultra wealthy or high net worth. So Brian, welcome here to this interview. Anything you want to introduce yourself with just to kind of start things out?
Well, thanks, Richard. It's great to be here. I guess maybe a little background, as you mentioned, I've been in the wealth planning, the wealth investment area for 43 years in a little town of Fairmont, Minnesota. And we met through a joint mastermind group we belong to called Strategic Coach. And so it's been great to get to know you and, be part of the investor group. But started out in the life insurance industry years and years ago, and then gravitated towards the investment business. So I had more control and could do things for clients. We got a great team of 18 people that we work with, and it's just really a pleasure to be here today.
Awesome. Yeah, glad you can make it. So I wanted to focus in on this unique process you've developed over 40 some years. And I know you usually describe it as kind of your four-step dream architect planning process. And that's kind of grown into a dream architect life kind of experience for managing a whole client's kind of life experience, more so than just their wealth management portfolio. Yeah. So can you talk to that a little bit and just how that works practically? Because then are people thinking, is life coaching part of this? What's the scope of how you really work with people?
Yeah, no, great. So we've had our defined wealth planning process, and we call it the Dream Architect, for probably 10 or 12 years. And it's a 4-step process. The first step is visioning what you want your future to be. Second is creating a blueprint for how you would get there. Third is the build of that platform. And fourth is maintenance. So once you're there, we want you to stay there. What obstacles come in the way, what courses change. And so it's been the defining process that we've used very successfully for at least the last 10, 12 years, as I said. But one of the things that's happened over the last couple of years, we kept noticing that one of the things we help clients do was, create wealth and meet all their goals and objectives. But we saw 4 things that were continually happening to very successful people that we felt, wow, if we can do anything to help them overcome that, they would have even better lives than they already do. And so, as you alluded to earlier, what we're doing is we've created a new platform, which is called the Dream Architect Life. And it's just a combination of 5 pillars. First one is wealth. So that just takes the Dream Architect process and makes it part of it. But even if you aren't a client of Sweet Financials, it's a great process to understand just those 5 pillars, because I think anybody could benefit from it. So wealth is the first pillar. Second pillar is purpose. And where this came about is we do a lot of work with business owners, but this really applies to a lot of people who retire. And their whole being, especially if you're a business owner, is, the executive title, the people you knew, the people you hung around with. And what we found is when people were moving from that to that or going to the next chapter, a lot of them had a lot of issues because of the business or their job having been such an integral part of their life, and they didn't do any planning or know how to plan to get, to figure out what their why or what their next chapter is. So all of these pillars that we're going to talk about, we've just created collaborations with people around the country that are experts in helping people transition in each of those particular areas. So the second pillar is purpose. Third pillar is health and longevity. And you alluded to that, a lot of your things that you're doing, health and longevity. Well, it's one of those things is that if you've got all the wealth you'll ever need and never have to worry about money, it would be really great if you could be on this earth for a longer period of time to take advantage of all the great work that you've done.
Right.
And yeah, so one of the things that we've found is, and especially in my area, if you go to the doctor, it's more like sick insurance or sick care. And, they dabble in two things, or the recommendation is two things. One, here's the medications you can take to fix whatever it is is ailing you, or here's this surgery that we could do. And with medical advances, as they are, there's so many things that can be preventative. And this statistic, it just sticks out at me. It's 80% of people 40 and older have an asymptomatic issue going on that they don't know about. So
Wow.
Doing things like full body scans and brain scans to find out where you're at today and maybe point out some things could literally save your life. And we want to make people aware of these things, because if you go to like a lot of doctors and clients that I've talked to, they don't even bring these things up because maybe they're not even aware.
Right.
The fourth pillar is legacy. Legacy would deal with making sure your values get transitioned down to the next generation, and also dealing with charitable inclinations. We've just found a lot of people want to be charitable, but they're just very uncomfortable doing it until maybe they pass away. And the problem with that is they do so much good, but they don't personally get to see the benefits of those good deeds. So trying to help them figure out ways where they can do the charitable work today,
Sure,
but also, live a good life, but see the good deeds. And then the last one is experiences. And a lot of times people get so tied up in working, they don't take time to have the experiences, or they just don't know like what to do. They haven't really thought about their bucket list. And so we've collaborated with some people that literally, if you wanted to sing on stage with Bruce Springsteen, for example, we've got people that can actually line that up. And we've packaged all this together in a platform where we'll do 3-day immersives, and we'll do a deep dive on all 5 of those topics, but they'll have a central theme. Like the first one will be March of next year, going to be in Dallas, and it's going to be health and longevity. We'll be doing full body and brain scans. We'll be having one of the top longevity doctors, peptide doctors, sleep doctors in talking about those kinds of things. But we'll have somebody in all the other areas. So a little long-winded explanation on that, Richard, but that's really what we're trying to do to help people really have more full and complete lives.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. It's kind of like to have a more rich life, even though they've already created their wealth and became rich themselves. And yeah, that the health component is just something that stands out, is just so important. I see so many clients that literally have a Ferrari, but they feed themselves Wendy's fast food for lunch when they spend more money on their Ferrari than getting like a blood biomarker test done on
Yeah.
themselves. And it's so backwards. If you're a really what third party people would call you as a greedy, money focused person, it doesn't even make sense to ignore your health because it's very expensive to die and you stop making money, right? It's like, it doesn't logically make sense. Even if you're money focused, you should be focused on your health. And everyone around you probably wants you to be around longer. And so it's really backwards to me on that. So I think it's part of our job is to kind of wake up clients to like, you have the means. You're no longer in the scarcity mindset of grinding 18 hours a day to make it. You already have made it, or they wouldn't be meeting with you or meeting with me. So I see this holistic approach you're taking as really important. And it's interesting how few wealth advisors even have those conversations with their clients around like early cancer detection, or like, last time I went to a doctor, to your point, I hadn't been to a doctor for a decade. So I went in to get a physical and they basically said, "What are you doing here? You're wasting our time." And I said, "Well, check for stuff, like see if something bad's going on. I don't know." And they just looked at me kind of weird, like, "Okay, I guess we'll run this test or that." And it's just so backwards.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do many of those things. We'll have to be sharing notes. I think doing like a full MRI scan every 18 months or 12 months. And I do the inside tracker biomarker tests.
Yeah. Those are all great
Those
ones.
types of things. Yeah. And it goes much deeper than that, I know. But how did that transition work for you? Was it a light bulb in your own brain that went on as a successful business owner with 18 employees and you said, "Hey, I need this for myself. So selfishly, as I dial this in, I'll just be sharing it with my clients. And I bet some people will connect with that." Or was it a specific client that just was so out of line in their life outside of money that you had to help them a lot and then created this? Or
Yeah, that's a great question. And then to be 100% honest, I'm not 100% sure what triggered it. I can tell you for sure, those four things that I mentioned, purpose, health and longevity, legacy, and experiences, those have all popped up numerous times with my clients over the years. So I think part of it was just I kept hearing those same things and I wasn't seeing anything being done to help people get there. So, but I would agree that I'm kind of going to be my own test kitchen. So for anything that we're doing in this, I'm going to have done it myself in advance. So I can also personally be used as an example, but also I understand, what's happening. So, but you're right when you talk about other people not talking about those things. We've been fortunate to have Forbes and Barron's and Private Wealth and Bloomberg write about the Dream Architect life concept. And it's really resonated with people because from what I've seen, there's not any platform like this out there. And so then once we kind of started thinking through it, and it's not 100% built yet, but we've talked to a lot of our clients that really fit the ideal parameters for this. And they're amazingly excited and can't wait to be participants in it. This will be something that we're going to open up to, not necessarily, you don't have to be clients of Sweet Financial to experience it, just because I think it's so beneficial for people to know the resources and how to overcome these things. So,
Right.
But yeah, great question. I have to think a little bit if there was something specific that triggered that.
Sure. Yeah, it was interesting. And maybe we think alike because some of the coach connection and just where we are in our lives. We have 22 employees, although 3 or 4 of them are in the Philippines. So probably the same number as you in the US. But when we set out to create our own real estate platform internally, we narrowed it down to just a few areas like mobile home parks, parking garages that don't have really employees, just meters, and then short-term rental like Airbnb properties. And when we thought about your components here of experiences, purpose, legacy, health, and we look at these components, we didn't have those in front of us. But when we looked at everything holistically, we said, do we really want to own 400 parking lots? Or do we want to be able to take our family to New Zealand and Bali and many different countries and show them different cultures and have those experiences? And could we spend the next 25, 30 years building a platform of X? And that really made it a very simple decision for us to focus on the the Airbnb properties for our investorresidences.com platform. And so I really connect with the messaging you have here, because if you don't think that way, then you won't make decisions that were good decisions for each component of your life. They'll just be made on what makes the most money or based on what you're passionate about, and not really holistic. And no financial decision should be made in a vacuum, because it impacts many parts of your life. What obligations come with that investment, what costs, what how it will change your family life, et cetera, on investing in different types of assets. So the only type of planning should be holistic planning. I think every wealth advisor would agree, but most of them don't look nearly as holistic as you. They're trying to be holistic only within the financial balance sheet, or maybe philanthropy and trust and estate planning, but not so much on legacy and experience and such. So anything else you'd like to communicate about how this has helped when you're meeting with clients, or anything else about the process, or I know you guys are doing a live event, in-person experience coming up eventually that's going to have some of the peptide testing and different types of things included in an experience, right?
Yeah, and the other thing we'll be creating is like a virtual opportunity. So if you can't actually attend the 3-day immersive, or that's just not your thing, but you would like to learn more from each of these individual people, we're not sure exactly how it's going to be created, but it'll be basically videos of each of these really skilled people in each of these areas, and you'll be able to do it online in some way, shape, or form. And like I said, the format's not to be created yet, but we want to be able to help anybody that's fighting these issues. The immersive will be hands-on and really in and of itself will be an experience, given all we're going to do with that, but that's not for everybody, and so we'll have other ways of participating.
Right. Sure. Awesome. Well, I definitely see an alignment between our organizations, and the whole idea of billionaires.com and our work together there is to pull out insights from billionaires and then just give them out to people, because when you help people, it comes full circle. So I'm sure that you're finding this with your practice of just, when you help people in additional ways, they're going to be more loyal and tell others about this really unique approach that you have developed. So that's really in line with how we've built our business the last 15 years. And I guess if anyone wants to get a hold of you, I know your website is sweetfinancial.com. In terms of other ways to get in touch with you, what would you recommend?
Yeah, we're creating a website for the immersive event, or the Dream Architect Life. So the dreamarchitect.com would be the other way of looking at that particular event, if you will. But you can reach out to us through sweetfinancial.com, or if you're got a particular question, I do answer all my emails. It's Bryan, BRYAN, @sweetfinancial.com. And if you'd like more information on any of those aspects, just feel free to reach out to me.
Great. Awesome. Thank you, Bryan. And hopefully some of our participants will see you speaking at one of our investor summits coming up, and it lines up with your schedule. I'd love to have you, come participate and just join in person or speak on stage at one of them. Would be an honor. And I think it's like an important message for people to hear, that to look at things through this type of a lens. So if anyone needs help getting in touch with Bryan, just let us know. And thank you for your time here today, Bryan.
Well, thank you very much. And I look forward to the opportunity to speak on stage also. And thanks for your time today.
Sure. Take care.